Hello there, welcome to episode 6 of a Simple Life knitting podcast. My name's Michelle and I'm getting pushed out of my little space. The computer is now occupying where I usually sit with my lovely hangers up here. I'm afraid you're gonna have to look at my food shelves. It's all right. It's temporary. And I'm looking at my phone, and the camera is in flip, so everything will be back to front. Because last time I managed to cut a lot of my head off. Not one of you said anything about it, so thank you very much. Because I speak from the heart and I do it all on the fly, I can't re-record because then it just doesn't feel right and true and proper. So I'll put that video out. Episode 5, if you're wondering. Okie dokie. Another thing to mention is I have a problem with my fridge freezer, and every now and then it starts to whir quite loudly. So there might just, if you see it cut all of a sudden, it's because I've had to stop to let the fridge freezer do its thing, and then I'll come back when it's silent again. So that's what that's all about. All right, knitting. Well, this is the Folksy Sweater by Melody Hoffmann, and you've seen it so much, but there's just one final thing to tell you about it. I did finish it, and I did wear it on Easter weekend. It was really uncomfortable to wear because, as we know, I had a problem with the neckline. It sat right on the edge of my shoulders, and I just felt it wasn't even a case of being an off the shoulder type garment. It has to be in the middle. Has to be in the middle of my body, because then everything just gets skewed. And if it was to be off the shoulder, I would be bearing down the side, showing down the side of my torso. And I didn't want that. So it was really uncomfortable to wear because I felt like it was just going to slip down any minute. I did wear it Easter weekend, and it got some compliments from my family, which was really quite nice. I've knit for a long time, but I haven't really started wearing my knits properly up until now. So I don't think my family know how well I can knit. Sorry, not my family. My husband's family. I don't have any family. My husband's family, my in-laws. So I don't think they knew how well I could knit. So that was really quite nice. I did like that. I have fixed it. As you can see, it's not going anywhere. So what I'll do is I'll take it off because it is getting a little bit warm. I'll take it off and I'll show you what I've done. Well, first I thought I could put shearing elastic through it, but because it's a 1x1 rib, the elastic I didn't buy any to try it, but I just thought it would come through. You would see, I could only find it in a black and a white. I just thought that's not really going to be the answer. What I needed to do was stabilise it. So first off, I put a line of single crochet along the top, and what that did was it brought in all along the top, and it did stabilise it and it brought it all in, but this was puckered, and it even managed to pucker all of the yoke as well. It just didn't sit right. Thought, right, okay, so maybe if I stabilise this little bit here and manage to not pucker this, then I can do something with up here. Maybe I can pull it in, and that's what I proceeded to do. And I did put a line of crochet, a single crochet on the colour change line there, and it really did pull it in. but I think that first time I was too tight because it was starting to pucker down the yoke, but I saw the potential of it. So I just loosened off and put that line of single crochet in there, and then that had my collar. It was flaring out, so it was all stable here, and this was just all flaring out. So all I've done is I've stabilized the top. I've just ran a piece of the same colour yarn with a needle, just picked up all of the little knobs there, and pulled it in to where I want it to sit, to where it sat nicely. And I'm thrilled with it. There's no giving this. Sorry, I'm looking at that, not the dot on my camera. I'm so sorry. It's solid. It's not going anywhere. There's no it's not an elastic yoke anymore, and that's absolutely fine because it's such a wide neck. I didn't need it to be elastic, and because there was so much give in it, that was the problem. So I now have a wearable sweater that I have had a lot of wear out of. Actually, we've had quite a cool virgin on cold long spring. There's been days where it's been quite warm, but mostly it's been quite a cool time, so it has got a wear. And there was one day where I wore this with the Felix over the top, the single strand Felix that I knit, the single strand Plotulopy unspun that I knit. You might remember I knit that in a beige, and toasty warm, perfect. There is so much give in that Felix that it really is proven to be quite the outer garment for the spring. I'm wearing it a lot. Anyway, I digress. So that is the Folksy Sweater by Melanie Hoffmann. Oh dear, a pattern by Melody Hoffmann, knit by me, all finished. I don't actually have any finished objects to show you this time, which I think's fine. I think you'll be okay with that. I think you're the type of people who don't expect anything, if that's fair to say. Is that fair to say? I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I get that. I understand that. I'm steaming up. Okay, on with the knitting. Okay, so I don't have any finished objects. Can I have a cup of tea? On with it. Oh. Okay. So no finished objects. A couple of pairs of socks for you that are mid work. So the first one, let me see. Where is it? Oh yes. Do you know, I thought I'd completed a sock there, and I'm looking for it. I haven't completed a sock. All right then. So I'm knitting a sock for my walking boots. I have some brown, really quite sturdy walking boots, and I like them because, as it's probably no surprise to you, I'm quite unsteady on my feet. I always have been. It's just the way I am. And when your centre of gravity changes, let's say that my family aren't very comfortable with me walking along steep drops. Okay, so I was wanting to knit some socks for my walking boots that were just ankle socks, really, just that they would just say peep over the top of the ankle part of it, so I could wear them with shorts. It would have to be when we're walking along the Northumberland coast, for instance, where there isn't any rushes or long grasses, because the last thing I need is to be bitten by a tick. So this yarn was left over from the gingerbread sweater that I knit for my daughter. And I'm going to present this sweater to you how I got it from her drawer. We shall be having words this evening. Now this is, now I remember it now, it's a commercial yarn, it's a blend, it's King Cole homespun. It has wool, merino, alpaca and some viscose in it. And now given it's got merino and alpaca in, it shouldn't have that much memory, and it's still, yeah. I was going to steam it. I had that fleeting thought, I best steam it, get the creases out ready for the podcast, but you're lovely. You appreciate that I keep things real. All right, so that's the yarn. This, did I say, it's the Gingerbread Sweater by Espace Tricot, and it's a lovely one. It's a DK pattern. The puff sleeves and part of the pattern, I put those in, and I've cropped it a little bit more for her as well, given that she's 17 and doesn't want long sweaters. So that is that. So I had some leftover that I'm just popping into a very short sock. I am slightly nervous. When I finish this, I need to wear it. I do need to wear it, but I also need to weigh it, because I don't know if I will have enough to make the second sock. Yeah, we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it. So that is, let me give you a close up. I quite like a tweedy yarn, you know. So that is the first sock. The second sock is knit out of West Yorkshire Spinners, their sock range. Let me show you the bow band, and it will be in verse because we're back to front. Yeah, Xandra Rhodes signature 4-ply. Now I don't know whether this is just the Xandra Rhodes line or whether this is all of the sock yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners, but when I felt this, when it arrived, I thought that feels like it's a little bit soft. It still has the sturdiness that sock yarn, commercial sock yarn has, but it was a little bit soft. I thought, oh, it's only got 35% Blueface Leicester in it as the wool content. I watch podcasts as much as the next person, and I have done for years, knitting podcasts. I have never picked up that there was Blueface Leicester in the West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn. Never picked it up. It was my first time knitting with it as well, and it won't be my last. It's a fab little sock yarn. I don't know how long it's going to wear for. I guess we'll find out, but they do have a good reputation, don't they? So I have mentioned before that I like to do a heel flap in gusset for my socks. But do you know, I don't really like to do it. I don't enjoy the process of a heel flap and gusset. I can put afterthought heels in, so that is what I'm going to master now. It's the fit with them. I've never been able to get the fit right, but I've made enough afterthought heel socks now to know how I'm going to tweak it to see if I can get the fit right for this. And then if I get it right for this, I will note down the measurements and I'll be away. I really don't like, my afterthought heel is just I just put another toe in, and I like doing this. I like the kitchen to stitch. I'm a whiz now. I've made so many socks, so yeah, hopefully I can master this. So I chose this colour for two reasons. Though that's if you're not a knitter, and I do have people that watch that aren't a knitter. Elaine and David for one. So yes, that's where I will take that out and I will put in my heel. I will pick up the stitches. There'll be a gaping hole there, and then I will put a toe in that will make the heel portion of the sock. So we're moving house. I'll say a lot more about it in a minute. So we're moving house, and I have the biggest garden that I've ever had. Now, it's not a massive garden, and I don't want to build it up because it's not a massive garden. It's just a garden. But I've got a lot of work to do, and I can't wait. My little ankle wellies are navy blue with a splash of bright pink along the back seam. So I thought these would be a lovely little welly boot sock come the autumn. So I'll finish these and then I'll put them in my box of socks that's under my bed that I'm not going to put into my drawer until the autumn. So it was part way knitting on these where we got some of the house sale, the bungalow sale paperwork through, and right at the front of the page was, there are covenants on this property, you must not keep poultry. So I can't have my chickens, and I'm not going to talk about it on here because I will get upset, because it's been it was only 3 chickens. It was only 3 chickens for some eggs to feel self-sustainable, for the manure for my my beds. So I don't want to be a princess on here and crying because I can't get my 3 chickens that I really wanted. It was more the symbolism of being through so much in my life, and I had this goal, and bit by bit the goal wasn't happening, and we've had to make compromises, and not able to have chickens, a protein source, was a huge blow. It was just a symbol. What I'm trying to say is, I can't express myself very well here. I like to write to get my thoughts down, and it really is helpful for me to write. And because I'm such a positive person and I have an interest in psychology, to be honest, I did do part of a degree before my funding was taken away, change of government kind of thing, and I didn't want to get into student debt to finish it. So I've done part of a psychology degree, but I have an interest in it for myself, and I can work my own way through my own problems. So I've wrote a piece about contentment and striving for contentment, and what happens when a person falls down the happiness trap it's what I call, anyway, I wrote a piece and I think it's interesting and I think it might help people, but it was where to put it. I didn't want to blog, I didn't want to subject you to just reams and reams of adverts in things. So what I've done is I've put it on a Ko-fi account, and it's completely public, that you do not have to donate anything. It's not behind a paywall, it's just somewhere ad-free where I can put it. But also I get requests, this is going to sound awful, I get requests asking if people could send me things. Now, I have an absolutely beautiful project bag that has been handmade out of scraps of fabric by a lady who I've developed quite a lovely friendship, and she gets me and I get her, and I know she's watching, so hello. And I also know her mom is watching as well, hello. So I have one project bag that means a lot to me. You know, I keep my projects in paper potato sacks, and you know that I can't have a stash of yarn. It gives me anxiety. So I have to say no when people, oh, I'm sorry. I have to say no when you lovely people reach out and want to gift me something. But I've also learned over the years that when somebody wants to gift somebody something, they really want to do a lovely thing, and it gives them good feelings too. So for me to be put in a position where I can't cope with lots of things and I have to say no, I feel like I'm hurting that person. So I understand the whole gifting, receiving and giving. It's a two-way process, and it's a beautiful process. But by me doing this, I can't accumulate things. I hope you understand that. So by having the Ko-fi account there, if you want to donate something, if you want to gift, to show your support, to show your love, your kindness, whatever, that is there. But I won't be promoting it. It's not a way of making money. It is not. I'm monetized now, and because you endure the adverts, that's enough. Anyway, I hope I've made myself clear in as nice as way as I can manage. In an emotional time in my life. Okay. So then, my socks. I'm very nearly there. So we have one complete wait for the heel, the other one I need to get the toe in and then do the heel, so they are on the way. So it's just as part of this healing process. I oh, my gardening book, hang fire, hold on, I've got it. I forgot to mention the Ko-fi account. I will link it in the description box underneath the video. All right then, so cup of tea, chamomile. All right then, so you might have noticed, or you haven't noticed, if you've watched episode 1, you would have seen that I was making from scratch a gratitude journal. And do you know, for someone that likes to write, I just wasn't picking it up of an evening, and it was just languishing there by my bed, and I thought, you know, I could make so much better use out of it. Anyway, as part of getting over the chickens issue, last Sunday I just wanted to just have some peace and quiet and paint. Now I've tried to paint since I was 16. When I did my GCSE artwork, that was the last time that I had seen a painting through to completion. And what it is I'm too hard on myself. I strive for perfection, and that has put barriers in front of my creative processes. My daughter did GCSE art last year, so we have watercolours in the house, and I asked her for some supplies, and I just went away with it, and it's no words. So I've turned my gratitude journal into my gardening book, and I watercoloured a carrot. I adore him, can you see? Didn't put any pressure on myself, it didn't matter. Oh, that's a funny shape, isn't it? Yeah, we'll ignore that. I didn't put any pressure on myself, so I have my gardening journal. But also what I did was I did a little flower, and I love it. I don't think the screen is picking this up particularly well. The colours, they're quite striking. There's a striking element of purples and pinks down here, and I thought, do you know, this is lovely with my socks. And I'm thinking I'm looking for a frame so I can put this in my new shed when I redo it, because I can still grow my vegetables. So I'm looking for a frame, but I want a frame that has a plastic front because it's a working shed and I don't want to smash glass. And I thought maybe I could print this on a t-shirt and have it as my gardening t-shirt over the summer, because this is an achievement. This really is an achievement. I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I saw it to the end, and I'm proud that it's not perfect, and I enjoy that it's not perfect. So that was cathartic as well. All in all, that is the tale of the 2 pairs of unfinished socks. So if you've been following me through, you'll have realised that I'm looking for ways of how to knit for my new body shape, and right from episode 1 I've been talking to Jo on Instagram, and Jo also had really large breasts as well, but hers were perfectly healthy, but she'd had drastic reduction and was loving her new breasts, and we were talking because I'd mentioned about the drop sleeve construction, and Jo mentioned the Weekend Delight, and how she liked it. She'd knit it with her larger breast and then has re-knit it for her smaller breast. I'm like, oh, okay, all right then. And the more and more I looked into it, I thought, yeah, do you know what, I think this could work because of how the neck's constructed, and because it's a drop sleeve, it's quite boxy anyway. So I thought, okay, Weekend Delight, it's a 4-ply yarn, what can I use for it? And I want it this time because the Shetland in the Folksy Sweater was expensive, and it very nearly was a jumper that was I probably couldn't have used if I'd, yeah, it was touch and go. I wasn't prepared to try a new style of construction with an expensive yarn. So I decided to go for a woolly knit cone, and it's the first time I've used woolly knit. This is it's the Derby Tweed, and it has like a bluey grey and a green and a brown. And the reason why I chose this colour was because if you've watched my vlogs, you'll know that my 13-year-old daughter Lucy is interested in horses. We took her to an open event at the horticultural college for the equine course. We're a year too early, she's still doing her GCSEs, but we took her there, and it just cemented her need. She knows what she's doing, she's driven for what she's doing, so that was useful. But before the virus situation, before we were all locked down 2 years ago, we used to take Lucy to riding lessons. Now, I don't know if you're the type of person that can feel the energy of animals, but Lucy and myself and my husband definitely can, and we just felt that those stables, the horses were, we didn't think they were happy. You could just feel it, and I only could go a couple of times because I came away feeling so depressed. Yeah. And then just before the pandemic, I seem to remember, I wasn't there, but I think one of the horses that Lucy was on was refusing, and I think it could have been an accident for Lucy. So the pandemic gave us a time to just cut ties. So we haven't been back since. But when we move, just 2 miles down a country road, there is a new stable with a very good riding skill reputation. So we're going to get her in there. We're going to just get a bulk of work done. On the house over the summer, and then late summer into the autumn we're going to get Lucy her horse riding lessons again, which in turn we're hoping she'll be able to volunteer to muck out the horses and that sort of stuff, which will help her get onto her equine course when she's finished her GCSEs. So I was talking about my knitting. All right then, so this is Derby Tweed. The colourway is Derby Tweed, and Derby Tweed has the woven fabric, so the woven fabric that is then made into garments via a sewing machine. Derby Tweed has its history in equestrian, in British equestrian. So it just was all fitting. So I needed an easy to throw on sweater for, I'm in a muddle here, look. I needed an easy, you can't see much. The Weekend Delight is a, as you can see, a bottom-up construction. So with the Weekend Delight, you knit it and then you turn it inside out, and that's the way you wear it. But I'm not a fan of it. I haven't fully decided, but I just think that side, it just looks scruffy. I tell you what I have decided on though. When I cast this on, I was going through all that chicken stuff, and it has a false seam running right down the front. And I said, oh, do you know, I cannot be doing with trying to work out, do I want people to be looking at this false seam in the middle of my chest? And I've just omitted it. I'm not doing it. So my Weekend Delight is probably not going to be the Weekend Delight, because I don't think I'm going to turn it inside out for the reverse stockinette size, and it doesn't have the faux seam. So it's basically a cheaper yarn. And I did get this. I was waiting for hopefully a sale on Easter weekend to try and get this for a little bit cheaper. It was £20. It's gone up, I think. Sure, it used to be £18. They weren't on sale, so I signed up for the newsletter and I got 10% off. So I've got this whole cone of yarn for £18, and this is just going to be a no pressure, quite inexpensive, chuck on in the countryside, around the horses. Possibly when I garden come the autumn, I'll put this on as well. So I'm enjoying just the freedom of not having to worry about producing a garment that's got expensive yarns in it, that has a construction I don't know if it's going to work or not, because if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. And with that neck, I can sew it as much as I need to sew it up. So that is the Weekend Delight of sorts. So you'll know me by now. I never have much in the way of knitting. Oh, I need to tell you, I'll not show you because you've seen it umpteen times. My Billy sweater, it's taken me ages to get the increases over the yoke, and I've done it. I have done all the increases on the yoke of my husband's Billy sweater. So now I have one chart for the arms with moss stitch, and I have one chart for underarms for the body with moss stitch. So I can fly with this now. It's still intensive work, it's still cabling, and I'm still going to have to concentrate, but those increases, it's taken me such a long time and so many brain cells. But that's done. All right, that's all my knitting that's going on. I haven't done anything on my crochet square dressing gown. That's been by the by, but I have got a new project. I was talking to, do you know, I'll not give you the ins and outs of this because I've only just started, but I had my husband make me up a frame, and I very, very roughly, can you see how wonky those nails are? I put in those nails. Now, I'm not a weaver. I have no experience. I think there's a warp and a weft, but I don't know which is which. I've watched one YouTube tutorial, and I've learnt enough that I need to get a starter point in right down here that will catch these ones when I pull it off, or it might be a case of using a hammer to pull the nails out to get it off. I'm not sure yet. I'm flying by the seat of my pants again, everyone. So this is, it's the leftovers. It's the leftovers from a Folksy sweater. And the colour change is it's just a scrap piece. It's just a quite a large scrap piece. I don't do things by half, do I? I should have done a bookmark to start, but never mind. I am waiting for my yarn spends to renew. So I'm going to start with getting some cotton and putting some tassels down. And I thought maybe I could put the tassels in and then cut them to a V to here, and then very quickly go up. So this is a wall, I'll just quickly tell you, this is a wall hanging for behind my bed in the new house. And yeah, that's all I'll say about it. There's a little story behind it, but I'll save it until the next episode when I've got something to show. Okay, we're nearly at the end. I just have to go and grab some other things. Back in a tick. Right, oh, that's my weaving. Better be careful. So I was away on the Easter weekend up in Scotland to my in-laws, and I've actually packed it, can you believe? My sister-in-law, this is the lady who made me the felted picture of the little bungalow in the countryside with the sheep. She does a lot with polymer clay as well, and for Christmas I got this little cow mug, and it's just polymer clay. Isn't she fab? So she has polymer clay, as you'll not be surprised to know because I've just said it. She has the clay, and while I was up there I took my crochet hook, and she showed me how to wrap my crochet hook in clay, and she baked it for me. So my crochet hook now, my 4mm crochet hook, so the one I use most often is what's the word? No, my fingers now fit in the gap. There's a word for it. It now fits my fingers really comfy, so that was good. So this mug I have by my bed, and it sits on my wooden top, and it scratches it and it has water in, and I don't want to ruin the top, so I used the leftover plotulopy from that Felix that I did, and I crocheted myself a coaster. I felted it a little bit. I felted it by hand a little bit, so that's fab. I'm chuffed I've got that. I made my husband one out of let lopy a good few years ago now. So he's always had one, but I haven't had one. So I'm pleased I have a little coaster by my bed now. And the final thing I've got to share with you is, can you remember on vlog 1 when I distressed an old second-hand cheapy candlestick lamp base to put in my new home when we get the bungalow? I found a lampshade for it for £1 from the charity shop, so second hand, chuffed bits. It should go really well. I think it's the right size because it's only a dinky little lamp. So this I would like to recover, and I've been looking at Liberty Fabrics, and I've been looking at Michael Morris & Co fabrics. I might have to treat myself, and I say treat myself. I haven't measured it, but I think a fat quarter will be enough. And a fat quarter of those fabrics are around £3.75, so it's not going to break the bank. So that when my spends refresh at the end of the week, I will be looking for a little bit of fabric to recover this. So that's another project for me. I think you're up to speed with everything now. I do. So in terms of the house move, you know the bulk of that. It's going ahead. We should have the council searches back anytime this week. I mean, it's Thursday now, who knows? It is the council, and they're renowned for being quite slow. The sellers have got someone in the bungalow to look at the electrics, to give us a survey on that, because we suspect that they are original electrics, and I thought the house was built in 1975, but it wasn't. It was 1963. So we think we may have quite a hefty job in getting those electrics replaced. But we know a bloke, we know a man who can do it we know two actually. We're probably getting both of them to help us out. So that is good. It's all going to plan. However, I'm stressed. My home is not a home anymore. The boxes are accumulating, things are getting packed away. I've if you read that post, you'll know that you'll find out that I've lived in 10 houses in the last 20 years. I've moved a lot, and I'm used to this. But I think the older I'm getting, I just can't cope. We're looking to see if we can get away on a holiday pretty soon. Just before we move, just to give us all, because if we go in this house feeling so uptight like what we are now, I think we may crash. I think we need a reset. I think we need some fun. Yeah, I think it's needed. All right then. Thanks ever so much for watching. And do you know, the fridge freezer only started whirring once, I think. There is a chance that I've missed it and there'll be a long section of it whirring because I'm not used to it making the noise now. I hope that doesn't happen, because I will have to, yeah, that shows up when I edit it. I turn the volume up over the editing and that will really be quite loud, so I hope that hasn't happened. Until the next time, if we do go away, would you like to come in my case? I'll leave a little space in the corner for you. You can come in my case and I'll take you with me. All right then. Until the next time. Bye.